Welcome to the First Congregational Church of Gray, the church at the heart of our town.
Anytime somebody lives to serve and not be served, I know. God is on the move, hallelujah. God is on the move in many mighty ways. God is on the move, hallelujah. God is on the move today.
The First Congregational Church of Gray has been around for nearly 250 years. Shortly after the town of Gray, or New Boston as it was known back then, was authorized. It used to be called the First Parish Church and was located where Shaker Road and Route 100 cross in front of McDonald's. The church founders had it easy back then, didn't they? Certainly not. Early in the church's history, there was the War of 1812. Then, the year without a summer in 1816, and let's not forget the Great Depression, when our church managed to survive on $381 for an entire year. Then, in 1829, the Portland Road was planned, and guess what? The plan had the road going straight through the center of our church. But facing these challenges, and a whole lot more, the people of the early church didn't know the meaning of the word quit. The parishioners came together and constructed a new building at this current location, a short distance from the town center, where it is still located today. Then, in 1912, we officially became incorporated as the First Congregational Church of Gray, and we've been busy ever since. We serve our community, nation, and world through monthly suppers, the Gray Food Pantry, adopting families at Christmas and Thanksgiving, and hosting Bible studies and speaker series by providing pillowcase dresses for women and girls in Africa, providing school kits, hygiene kits, and cleaning supplies for disaster relief efforts around the world. We're just as busy serving the youth within our community through Sunday school, puppeteers, the youth group, Vacation Bible Day Camp, the Backpack Program, Kids Scholarship to Pilgrim's Lodge, and of course, let's not forget the annual Mardi Gras pancake flipping contest. In 1957, the First Congregational Church of Gray joined forces with other congregational churches around the country and several other denominations to form the United Church of Christ. The United Church of Christ, or UCC, is the Church of Firsts, weaving God's message of hope and welcome with action for justice and peace. Together, we live out our faith in ways that affect change because we act upon the demands of our faith. When we read in Galatians, there is no longer Jew or Greek, there is no longer slave or free, there is no longer male or female, for all of you are one in Christ Jesus. Today, 1 million members strong, we, the United Church of Christ, continue to change lives throughout the world, working alongside more than 200 mission partners. We labor ceaselessly to fight injustice in the United States and abroad. We strive to forge leaders who imagine new dreams, and we sustain and develop church leaders, pastors, and our local churches to live their faith in exciting new ways. In other words, we believe in a God that is still speaking, a God that is all-loving and inclusive. We are a church that welcomes you wherever you are on life's journey. So come say hello to us here at the First Congregational Church of Gray, and let your mind be nourished as much as your soul.
Good morning. My name is Dottie Barton, and I'm here to talk about what drew me to the First Congregational Church of Gray. We need to go back in time. It was May of 1974. I had just found out that I was pregnant with my first child, my son Jimmy. And I was so excited. I was just literally jumping up and down. And I lived in downtown Gray, a little place called Sunset View. It was an apartment complex. It was brand new, and we'd lived there since we moved to town in 1971. And it was my habit to just walk to the post office, which was located where the Morrison Center is now. And I was there almost every day. And this delightful lady named Olive Lewis was working there. And we always had discussions and talks and chats and all the things you do at the post office. So it was like 2 days after I found out I was pregnant, I went into the post office and just beaming and telling all about how I was pregnant and how happy I was. And unfortunately, I said to her, I really want to start going to church because I just want to thank God for this blessing. And I said, but I'm a Methodist and there's no Methodist church in Gray, which there wasn't at the time. So Olive, being Olive, who would never, just enter into any, this side or that side conversation, simply said, there's a lovely little church in the V of Brown Street and Yarmouth Road that you might like to check out. And I thought, well, sure, that's a possibility. So the very next Sunday I went, I sat in the back pew, and I've been coming ever since. I just don't know what it was, but from the moment I walked in the door, people were welcoming. I felt that this is where I belonged, and so it's been a wonderful journey. And I never go to church on a Sunday without thinking of Olive and how gracious she was, and making me always feel welcome, from her to every other person in the church. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Good morning, I'm Michael Mills. My wife Jan and I have been coming to this church for literally 25 years. We moved to Maine, and this was our second church that we tried, and it seemed to be a perfect fit. We came from a pretty strict background, and we were welcomed here, and we found something here that could enable us to grow and to get closer to Christ. In the past couple of decades, our theology has actually changed, and you know what? We still feel comfortable here. We still feel at home here. This church is just a wonderful group of people. I had some emergency surgery back about 20 odd years ago, and I hear some noise outside, and a couple of folks from the church were out there cutting my firewood, splitting my firewood, and then stacking it. And they knew I needed something. They knew my wife wasn't able to do all of that. And so they pitched right in without even asking. And that's the way this church is. We care for each other. We love each other, truly. And when somebody needs any type of assistance, it can usually be found here at the church. And I'm very proud to say that I'm a member here, and I've been a member for 25 years. I'm not sure what else to say, but right now we're between a settled pastor, and our current pastor is he embodies the role of Christ in a church, and we feel very honored to have Stephen here.
Hi, my name is Jen Dupuy, and I am a member of the First Congregational Church of Gray. And I've been at this church for about 6 years, 6 wonderful, life-changing years. What brought me to this church? 2 things. The first was that I knew I wanted to belong to a church within my own community, because I have children who attend the church, and I wanted them to be able to get involved and to meet some other boys and girls that they would be going to school with, hopefully. So I knew I wanted a church within my own community. But more importantly, the Congregational Church was the right fit for me, because the Congregational Church, or the United Church of Christ, lets me explore my own thinking and is not exclusive. And I grew up in a church that was pretty rigid and definitely, I hate to say judgmental, but definitely some people were okay and others were not. These guys were sinners, these guys were not. And I didn't want a church that was divisive, because that to me was not Jesus' message. And this church is not divisive. It is open and affirming, welcoming to all, And that has been wonderful. It opens its arms to everyone, myself and my family included. So this is why I joined this church.
Hi, I'm Sam, and this is my son Will, and we're members of the church, and I have been a part of this church ever since I was a child. I was baptized here and got married in this church, as well as my children were baptized here, so it's been a part of our lives for a long time. We love the community and the support that it provides and the guidance that it gives us, and we're just really happy to be a part of this church.
Anytime in weakness someone falls upon their knees, or dares to speak the truth that sets men free. Anytime the choice is made to stand upon the word, I know